Sanbonan. Dumelang. Molweni. You can see the Xhosas are very, Molo comes from the heart. Yeah, fantastic. It's so good to see so many of you this morning. Can I see by a show of hands, how many of you were here yesterday? Ooh. Matata manji. All right, if you're here for the first time, please put your hand up. Right, so it's about 50-50, 50-60. Thank you so much for being here this morning. Please give yourselves a round of applause. Right, so this is day 2 of the 7th annual Green Youth Indaba 2022. We are in day 2. Yesterday we had a fantastic day. We were here until, what time, Billy? 6, ne? 6, 7. No, but you guys that stayed until 7, you are the ones that wanted the money. So there was a certain group that was here until 7 yesterday, because while we're still on that, we are running a competition today. We are giving away 1,000 Rand cash. So, we're running a competition today on social media. We are giving away 1,000 Rand cash. The organization is giving away 1,000 Rand cash for the person who's got the most engagements on social media. The hashtag is hashtag GYI2022. While we're speaking about that, the Wi-Fi password. The Wi-Fi name is conference venue. And the password is capital C ONF 2022 at exclamation mark. That one. Right, so it's conference venue, password, capital C ONF 2022 at exclamation mark. All right, we're going to get the show underway. Once again, a big welcome. We've got our online audience as well, people streaming from all over the country, all over the world for this Green Youth Indaba. So many opportunities for young people, not only to come up with ideas, but to get into business and take those ideas and get a business out of it and start making money out of these great ideas in the green economy. Our focus is climate adaptation, innovation, and sustainable skills development for intense youth participation within the green economy. Yesterday we had a guy who is taking recycling stuff and then he's creating petrol, diesel. There was a powerful woman who's got her own bricks. Incredible innovation, and I think we're going to see more of that today. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. I've given you the social media, the bathrooms. If you walk out the door and you turn right, you'll see on your right hand side, and then you see on your right hand side, gentlemen, it's on your left, and then for the females, it's on your right hand side. So we're going to have a good time. And then to get the show underway, we've got an opening youth motivational talk by a young gentleman, a brother. His name is Bongani. Bongani is with us in the building, but before he comes on stage, in every single organization, there's a culture. Like, look on Tlung, there's a certain way that you do certain things. And whoever comes into your house must obey or rather go by those rules. So here, when a speaker comes on stage, we show them love. We give them a lot of energy. So by the time that they are here, they are ready to go. We all good? Yeah? Don't be afraid to clap. If you feel like, yo, and that was a powerful point. Tuska, feel free, relax, clap, have a good time. So Bongani is with us in the building. Let's put our hands together for Bongani Putswane from the PEG Foundation. Come on, let's show him some love. We can do better than that. Let's give him more energy.
Good morning. Good morning. I hope you guys are good and I hope you guys are well. Can I drop this? Sanbonani. Ninjani. Ngiyaphila. My name is Bongane Putswane, and I'd like to just share a bit about myself, where I come from, and just to inspire you this morning. You are looking at a young man who comes from a disadvantaged background, and oh, okay, I know this one. It's like I'm in the airport. You are looking at a young man who comes from a disadvantaged background. I come from Pietermaritzburg. In my upbringing, I was a very energetic kid. I was a very energetic kid who had no vision, who had no direction, who didn't care, who just got up, lived life, did whatever they had to do. And I was very arrogant and very rude. You couldn't approach me when I was very young. I would tell you straight, if you come to my house and you turn on the TV, I'll tell you change the channel to my favorite channel because this is not your house, it's my house. I was very, very, very naughty. My parents didn't have a direction how to bring up this kid. They were new in this thing because this is the first child they have, and they had Bongane Putswane, which is very difficult. And then all of a sudden, Bongane decided one day when my father was fixing a car with the mechanic. When they were fixing the car, the mechanic makes a joke. He says, if you sniff this petrol, you're gonna get high. One day my father sends me to go buy petrol. On my way back, those words played. If you sniff the petrol, you'll be high. So I thought to myself, let me experiment, let me try this thing out. And then I just opened the bottle and I said, Jeb, Jeb. I looked around, no one was seeing me. And you know, I did a voucher, I went down and I opened it and I sniffed the petrol, and when I sniffed it, it hit me the first time. I got hooked on petrol for more than 4 years. I couldn't survive without petrol. I couldn't function without petrol. And let me tell you, I would come home smelling of petrol. My parents, the whole house would smell of petrol. What's wrong with you? Are you drinking this thing? No, I didn't have direction. If a person doesn't have a vision, you will never have direction. A lot of times people that don't have a vision, hence that's why they find themselves in a wrong environment, because you don't have a vision. Just like Bongane Putswane, I didn't have a vision. Teachers struggled with Bongane Putswane. In school, I couldn't read and write. In school, I couldn't even write an exam. I couldn't even make a speech that I'm making today with so much confidence. So, teachers had that problem with me. Even people in high school told me that, Bongane, you'll amount to nothing. They said, Bongane, you'll be a zero. They said, Bongane, you'll be a taxi driver. They said, Bongane, maybe you'll end up in prison just like your brother who died a long time ago. You'll be just like him. Everyone predicted that my future would be like that. As I would love to do an illustration. Those of you who know me, I love to do illustrations. They say we are a generation with happy pictures, but behind the scenes, we are sad generation. On Facebook, on Facebook, you know. On Facebook, but the real thing that I want to ask you is, how are you when nobody's watching? This used to be Bongane Putswane back then. My past used to look like this. I always say to young people, your past is not a place of residence, but your past is a place of reference. Use your pain and turn it into a passport. You can clap hands. How? What? Use your pain and turn it into a passport. I remember when I went to pick up my matric result. I went to the group of friends of mine to go pick up the matric result. I made it in matric. The teachers loved me. They made me, they give you condo. Just, you're getting too old. And I made it to matric. And then when we went to pick up the matric result, my first friend picks up the paper, checks his name. Bah, I'm in. I celebrated. My second friend picks up the paper. I'm in, yeah, celebrated. Then Bongane picks up the paper. I check for my name. I was not in the paper. Everybody around me celebrated. They had fun. They enjoyed themselves. Parents posting them on social media. My mom calls me and says, Bongane, how did it go, son? I said, Ma, I never made it. That's the day that changed my life. My mom said, Mfanwami, said it in Zulu, kuzolunga. Don't give up. And today, as I speak to you today, Bongane Putswane, took his pain and turned it into something great. And today I'm a founder and a CEO. Bongani Putswane. I have written a book. And when I wrote my book, I thought about my teachers that I gave them hell in school, who said, Bongani, you can't read and write. When I first published my book, I went back to my school, dressed up, looking nice, driving in with my car. I went to the principal's office and I said to them, thank you so much for telling me that I'll never make it. But today, I'm here to tell you that the same boy who comes from a broken community, he's changing the world. And I produced my first book to my school. And the teacher said, wow, this is Bongani. This is you. Wow, you Bongani, we're so proud of you. I said, yes. Doesn't matter where you are born. Doesn't matter your background. What matters is where you are going. Thank you so much. My name is Bongani Putswana.
Zogala ungavai. Your book. If people want to buy it, how much is it? How do people get hold of it? It's lovely when you read a success story of someone that you've seen. For no omunye umuntu awumazi ukuthi ubuyaphi, but he's here. Platform.
Okay. Thank you so much. My book is available. It's 250. You can get it by me, or you can send me an email. Oh, by the way, I have an email address. Hey, God. You can send it me an email, or you can WhatsApp me. I'll give you my WhatsApp details now. 083 993 4046. 083 993 4046. I'm still around here, so you can come to me and then we can engage. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, please let's put our hands together one more time for Bongani. Thank you so much, my brother. All right, so I have to announce the Twitter winner from yesterday. I've got a name here. Can we have a drum roll? No, don't stop. Wait. I'm still trying to understand this name and who this person is. Right, so the winner of the Twitter competition that walks away with 1,000 Rand cash is Mtembu Odwa Ntsiga. Please can we give him a round of applause. No, come, I mean, relax, come. Yeah, it's your, yeah. So he walks away with 1,000 Rand. I've just received a message that they must see me at the tea break for the money. Okay, so at the tea break, come see me, and then I'll give you the cash. Round of applause for him. Bongani walks away with 1,000 Rand cash. You know, there was a young entrepreneur yesterday that spoke about persistence, not giving up until you get what you want. Like, they were here until 7, 6:30. Like, we're going to get this 1,000, and they got it. So we're giving away another 1,000 Rand today. Right. Let's get into the program. We've got powerful speakers today. Next up, we've got females leading in the green economy through sustainable business models. Ms. Kidiboni, Ramtilo Trading Plastic Bricks, are you here? Oh, you're here with us. Fantastic. She's with us in the building, sitting right here in the front. Please can we give her a round of applause as she comes to the front. Oh, come on, we can do better than that. Thank you.
I think I'll use this one.
All right.
Good morning.
Let me switch it on for you.
Thank you. Good morning, and thank you so much for the opportunity to whole day. By we, I'm including my business partner and sister, who unfortunately couldn't make it today because she's got other engagements. So one of the reasons why we stayed yesterday was to listen to the pitches, because that's something we've been doing for a very long time in our entrepreneurial journey, and we wanted to hear some of the other entities that are upcoming in the green economy, which is a very big space that we're very passionate about. And listening to these yesterday, there was somebody who was 15 years old who was pitching. Very inspiring to see young people really coming up with tangible solutions to make this country a better place, to make the world a better place. And it's nice to see a room full of young people as well, because whatever we're talking about here is going to impact each and every one of us. We are the future that we're talking about. When we talk about taking care of the environment for the future, we're talking about each and every one of us here. But some of the key things that I picked up that I thought I should share in our journey, yesterday somebody said, one of the speakers said, whatever you learn, it's important that you pass that on to the next person. And in some of our pitching encounters or opportunities, one of the speakers who's coming later is Rise Corp, and I hope they're here already or somebody is coming and we'll hear what we have to say, because we only have positive things to say about entities that are like what Innovation Hub does, help young entrepreneurs sell their business, understand their business. And one of the key things that I picked up yesterday was just in how, when you're talking about your business, it's important that you know the nitty-gritties of the business. So regardless of who wins tonight, I think all of you guys have walked away with valuable feedback. Just remember that when you are presenting your business, one of the key things they taught us is do not extend the truth. Tell it as it is. Whatever it is that you don't know, say that you don't know. And we're young people, we know how to play with words. You can always just say, as a young, agile person, we have not thought that far. I will do my research and come back to you. But do not find yourself lying. You never know who's in your panel. You never know who your panelists know. So at the end of the day, you need to present your business as honest as you can and know your numbers. I think those are some of the key things that I picked up yesterday that I thought I should just share with people who are upcoming, but also the guys who were pitching yesterday. There's really valuable feedback that you received. To bring it back to our business, so we're on Zillow. We are proud to say that we're South Africa's first patented manufacturers of the Eco Brick. Thank you very much. Welcome to the home of the plastic bricks. So in terms of our journey, it's co-owned by my sister and I, and not to get too much into the information on the projector, but I have a finance background. I'm a qualified auditor, and my sister is an engineer, and interesting enough, she is still studying at an FET college towards her engineering certificate. So we really are passionate about education, but also just making it within the space that we're in, working hard and persisting, as I said earlier. So in terms of our timeline, we started our business in 2013. We started as a construction business, and this was as a result of our father. So growing up, we used to go on site with our father, and it felt like punishment because every school holiday, we would have to go on site at his construction business, and most of the time it was in a remote location somewhere in the Free State, which is where we're from. But this taught us from the age, my sister was at the time probably 12 years old, and I was 4 years older than that. And we would go on site, and I would always gravitate towards the office, and she would be within the trenches and learning what's happening from ground up, which speaks to what we do now, because I'm more on the strategic business side of things, and she's more on the operational side of things. So we nurtured our skill without even knowing why we were still in high school. So the opportunities are immense, and it doesn't have to be directly from family, which is what I always tell young people, to always put yourself out there. Go into those construction sites, go whatever it is that you're interested in, go and knock and do vocational work where you might not get paid, but that experience that you're gaining will put you ahead of your gang, of everybody else. And in 2016, we started prototyping the use of, well, actually take it back a little bit, we did general building work in our construction business, and we identified that we're spending quite a lot of money on building materials, specifically bricks. So we went out to look for manufacturers, female-owned manufacturers, specifically black females, who are in the mainstream economy in terms of brick manufacturing, which we did not find. And that is when my sister and I decided we will do it ourselves, and we started manufacturing the conventional cement bricks. These bricks were utilized in our construction projects. However, home is in the township, we're from the township, so you get to interact a lot with the waste collectors that we see in the street. And we got to understand how plastic recycling, or in their case, just collecting plastic and selling it off, was creating an income stream for them. So we decided to focus on plastic recycling. However, we do not want to move away from what we know, which is construction and backstage brick manufacturing. So in 2016 is when we prototyped the use of plastics in the brick making, And by 2017, we had a product we were comfortable, which we took for testing. And in 2019, we then invested in machinery, and up until today, we are creating or contributing towards the green economy. So the importance of plastic, I think, cannot be denied. We all understand that plastic plays a part in different industries. We've got retail and food, which is what we know, but we've got plastic in the medical space, in the construction space, in agriculture, anything that you can think of, there's a plastic that's been used there. But plastic in its nature is not the problem. It's what we do with the plastic that is a problem. And currently, we're recycling less than half of the plastic that we're consuming and making from virgin material. And this is where Ramzilo comes in as one of the players in the recycling space. Oh. So our solution is the plastic brick. A brick that ensures that zero waste goes to landfill. And the reason why I emphasize zero waste is because we're able to recycle all types of plastic, not just type 1, these plastic types. If you look below a plastic cup, for instance, these water bottles are type 1. It goes all the way to type 7 being the unrecyclable plastic because there is no technology to recycle this plastic. So the single-use plastics, the plastic bags, those are all type 7. And we've created the technology that's able to recycle the type 7 as well. So ensuring really that zero waste goes to landfill and there's true circularity in the manufacturing process of recycling plastic and making the bricks. So just a formal introduction to the Eco Bricks. We've got a stand we're exhibiting outside, just outside here on the right, so you can come and visit our stand to see the product. It was just a quick overview. We recycle all types of plastic, and there's true circularity in the product because we ensure that plastic is fully processed. So when you do have a look at the brick, you will see, even if it were to be broken in half, you will not see remnants of any plastic. And the reason for that is because we didn't want to create a short-term solution where one day when a building is demolished, the plastic still leaches back into the environment. So we ensure through our manufacturing process that the plastic is fully processed and no plastic is visible so that it is a truly, truly environmentally friendly solution. Thank you. So I think we've heard the term circular economy. I believe you might have come across it or you have heard the term. Just in simple terms, we currently as a nation, and not just South Africa, I mean globally, we are more linear in terms of plastic consumption or plastic economy, where we make, use, and discard of plastic. However, through the circular economy, we're ensuring that you create value out of every type of plastic and you ensure that it remains in circulation until the end of life of that plastic. So currently where we are is more on the linear side, but through technology such as ours, we ensure that we move more towards circularity globally, especially because this is a global problem or an environmental problem. So this is just an illustration of how the product can be used. Cemented the exact same way as a conventional brick, it eliminates plastic from landfill as indicated, and surely ensures that there is no plastic that comes out of this process, ensuring that there is, again, that true circularity in our process. Thank you. So in terms of our mission, we are two young black women who are passionate about the empowerment of fellow black women and young women at large. So we ensure that we fight for young women and ensure that young women through our solution are also empowered and see that if one girl can do it, I can definitely do it. There's nothing special about us. We just took on that challenge and we are seeing it through. And some of our guiding momentums is just aligned to the SDGs, and it's important to understand those because the SDGs are really there to ensure that we have a better future, and I would really employ all the young people here to do a bit more research to understand what those are about. There's a lot of opportunities, economic opportunities within aligning with the SDGs, and these are global standards, not just African or South African. So in terms of the product itself, there is high value that's created in the use of the product. They're stronger than the conventional brick. They're lightweight, so they're about kilogram lighter, which ensures load-bearing benefits. That's just from a structural engineering perspective. It's a good benefit. They're not as water absorbent as the conventional brick, so you will not see cracks on your wall for a longer period of time because of the plastic element. And also due to that plastic element, they are insect and mold repellent. So there's a vast number of benefits utilizing the plastic in this technology, and that's why we tend to see plastic moving more and more in towards the construction space. The bricks that we offer currently are the stock and the maxi sizes. We've got both on stand, and we are distributing these products to a wide range of market. And when I speak to strength, it's called MPA in the technical space. So it goes from 7 all the way to 20 MPA. 20 MPA is mostly, 15 to 20 MPA is mostly required by engineers. And in terms of strength, the benefit is you can build multi-story units with our bricks at a lower cost, and all the other technical stuff I've already addressed during the presentation. So we developed a new product. We understood that there's going to be a lot of convincing. For instance, in 2018, we were very excited and we thought we've got a product that is going to change the world, because in 2017 we had taken it for 1 or 2 tests. We went to an exhibition, and when we got there, we were met by engineers, property developers, you name it, industry experts. And the questions that we got there included, is my house not gonna burn? When there's water, will not flood? You know, so there's all these things that we got criticism basically for, and how we took that criticism and we actually got to understand what were the concerns from that criticism. So when somebody was saying, is my house not going to burn? It's obviously because they hear plastic, but now to us it communicated that we need to go to a test that shows that the house is not gonna burn. So we did quite a large number of tests, and we still do tests. I'm glad I saw that Sanas is here. We test against those standards, and these are standards that guide SABA's testing as well. So we do a lot of testing of our product throughout the year, which is important because, remember, our structures build homes, we build hospitals, we build all sorts of structures, so it's important to make sure that the product does meet all the necessary requirements. So, as I said, we are young women. We are passionate about the empowerment of young women, and it's through entities such as these that allow us the opportunity to engage with a young upcoming woman to see where we can play a role, because it is important that that social divide is also closed. Because one thing that we've picked up in our team is there's a lot of misconception around plastic manufacturing, plastic recycling and manufacturing at large, it being something that is more for men. And we're here to dispel that, but to also engage more women in that space in order to bring in more women, because it's quite an industry where a lot of women can really play a beneficial role. And again, aligning ourselves to those sustainable development goals and the NDP of the country. Because one thing you need to learn as a business, you need to align as a business person, is you need to align yourself to where the world is going. So the alignment with the SDGs ensure that whether you're in South Africa or you're in America or you're in Europe, you're able to relate to people that you're talking to, whether it's from a seeking funds, it's from a seeking partnership perspective. It's important that you align yourself with where the world is going. Environmentally, we're very big on the environment as well. Aside from the collection of the plastic as well, we ensure that we provide training to our waste collectors. We do recycling drives. We also do collection drives across schools. We partner with a number of we are partnering with a number of corporates as well in rolling out primary school collection drives, and then rewarding the most plastic collected by the schools by either giving them a library upgrade. We're currently donating a school, like a classroom, to an ECD center, so that we also ensure that the environmental impact, because that building itself has great energy efficiency properties, so it'll help them save costs on their ECD or creche, bill as well. So the use of alternative building technology is not new. However, through organizations such as the Department of Science and Innovation, the CSIR, we've seen a lot of drive towards utilizing plastic in the construction industry. We've got roads in South Africa that are built using plastic, and more familiar, we've got the concrete products that are now infusing plastic in them. So the use of plastic is very much integrated into the construction industry. We just provided a new product, so extending that platform of products that are available in the plastic recycling, but also construction market. Opportunities that we've seen, and I think this is also something that yesterday, I think the pitching and everybody else going forward, it's always important to communicate the opportunities for growth in your business, because one, I don't know who's going to be my future partner in the room. I don't know who's going to be my future customer, but it's important that I highlight
where the business is going and what are the important things that we're seeing out of what we're doing. So not to label on all of them, but we've seen a lot of interest in environmentally friendly products coming from the market. We've seen property developers that are now curious about the environmental impact of the building environment, the industry. So there's been a lot of cry out for more environmentally friendly products. We've seen the government as well push towards the use of alternative building technology in infrastructure projects. So that has also created a market. And we've also seen retailers who are actually coming to us and saying they want to stock the product because they want to tap into the circular economy and the green economy, because the agenda now is really moving towards the green economy. And I think the guys at Green Youth will also agree that it's taken time to get to a point where the green agenda is now becoming a normal part of our conversations. So one of our most proud element of our business is being a social enterprise. We really pride ourselves in working with waste collectors. These are some of the most marginalized men and women, mostly elderly women and elderly men. A lot more young people started to get into the industry. So what we do is there's already waste pickers. Before we were there, they were waste pickers. But we try to find ways that we can add value into the lives of our waste collectors, because whatever it is they're collecting, they are initiating the circular economy. So more than 40% of waste that's recycled in South Africa comes from waste collectors. However, they remain very marginalized. So what we do is we try to train these waste pickers in terms of plastic separation, value of their plastic. We do quotas specifically for women and youth collected plastics. And we also integrate them formally into the market through either business training or some sort of skills development. Most of the time, these are people who cannot read and write, so you really have to make sure that you make it as simple and as easy as possible for them to be integrated into the formal system. And we recently donated PPE to them because we noticed that some of them collect at the early hours of the morning and it's dark, and one of our elderly ladies was actually hit by a car because they could not see her. So we then did a drive. So we work with quite a few corporates, and then we'll ask the corporates to please just donate something to our waste collectors. Thank you. So this is just to illustrate where we say that we collect all types of plastic. So we work with waste management companies, we work with corporates, we work with individuals. And so we did a school drive with a particular school in the Free State. We've collected from technology or ICT companies. We work with Sasol. So it's got a number of companies where we collect from, because one thing that when my sister and I started our business, we said we're going into the mainstream. We made it clear that we want to play in the mainstream economy. Therefore, we're going to get volumes in terms of how much plastic we collect, how many bricks we manufacture. We're going towards where we in 2015, 16, we're looking for young black women in the brick manufacturing space. We're going to be those women, so that tomorrow when there's another woman who's doing construction, is looking for women manufacturers, they know where to find us. And that is why we partner with a lot of the entities that are in the mainstream economy as well. So in terms of our accolades, we've received, fortunately, a lot of accolades. We've been invited by the Department of Small Business to interact with the President. We are a lot on TV and in the media, and we're very grateful for those opportunities. The recent one where we always get phone calls is we were on Moja Love, Success Stories with Aubrey Dow, and my phone doesn't stop ringing. I'm very proud of that. And earlier this year, actually 2 months ago, less than 2 months ago, I was invited by the European Union to go and present our solution as one of the solutions in the circular economy, and I was actually one of the speakers. I got to interact with key stakeholders in Europe, specifically the European Union, and I got to speak to the Commissioner. And there's a lot of opportunities that have come from that, but the reason why I wanted to include this is because it's always been a dream of mine to be able to sit on stages outside of South Africa in order to show what South Africa is doing, because the main thing, I was the only person who was chosen to be on the stage in the whole of Africa. And the reason why I was proud is because when I stood there and I said, I'm a young woman from South Africa, the crowd was very surprised to find a solution like this coming from a developing country. And this shows that whatever idea that you have, if you work hard at it, one day the doors will open. You don't have to do anything outside of the norm to get the doors to open, but whatever hard work you're doing and that persistence you're putting in will definitely see you through. And this has put South Africa on the map in terms of environmental champions. So this we built. I know that a lot of people, even today, the last day and a half, have been asking where have you used your product. So the bricks have built quite a number of structures. This is an RDP development that was taking place in Bronkhorstspruit where we supplied the bricks. We've supplied to another social housing project in Spokane, but also we distribute through the main hardware stores that you guys are familiar with, so the Builders Warehouse stores, recently signed on to Build It stores as well. So we really are getting the product into mainstream. We've been very fortunate in being able to do that as well. And every house that we manufacture, that we utilize here, is made purely from plastic. So every brick that is used there, and these are the other projects, every brick that's used there recycles on average 100,000 plastic bottles if we were to put it in words. So it's just quite a lot of plastic recycling. This is when we went to Builders Warehouse for the first time, and our product, we're proud, this is our leading stores in terms of sales. Builders Warehouse stores are always selling out because the contractors are very happy with the quality of the product, the strength of the product. Again, our persistence is showing in that, because when we started making this product in my mother, I mean, we're from the township, so I think there's a lot of relatability in terms of the size of the I don't know how to understand, you know, the size of the yard is very small. So we would take waste from people's houses, we would manufacture this thing from scratch. I was working at the time, I was working as an auditor, so I would take my salary and put it back and go buy the waste, go buy all these products. You guys can imagine my mom's frustration that she had to work hard to put me through school, and then I go do this. So when I resigned, I didn't tell her. I resigned because the one thing, I think somebody mentioned it yesterday as well to the pitching panel as well, and I'm referring back to the pitching panel because I believe a lot of guys here are interested in going into business or are in business. So all of these tips that I'm sharing, I hope will help you on your journey. Is when you are 1 foot into the business, it's difficult to convince an investor or even a customer that you're serious about your product. So for the longest of time, I was 1 foot in, but mainly because we needed to fund the business as well. And so when I quit the business in 2019, I didn't tell my parents because I knew they were going to be very upset. And I remember we were on Power FM at the time, and I called my mom, like, no, you guys listen to Power FM, we're going to be on radio. It was one of the first few times we were on radio. And they asked me, okay, so you quit your job? I'm like, yeah, I left my job, I'm not pushing this thing. Next, when I get out, I get a phone call. She says, how could you didn't tell me when it's in Mereko. So really, it was a difficult one, but it was also a decision that I made because I really wanted to give the business my all. And that same year is when we signed on to Builders Warehouse. And this year, we signed on to Build It and are busy with the other stores. So we really are trying to push into the mainstream. And what I've learned is in what we're doing, when we're sitting in those boardrooms and we're having those conversations, we're dispelling the myth of young people cannot do it. We're dispelling the myth of women cannot be in this industry. So not only are we getting into Builders Warehouse for us, but tomorrow there's a young woman who can come and knock on the same door, and because of the work that we've done, they can listen to whatever it is that they have to offer. So I think it's important that you understand in your journey as well, in our journey of empowerment, it's not just empowering us, and whatever it is that you're doing as well, remember the next person. And for us, because we're a woman and we encounter certain challenges as women, we really are trying to push to open up those doors for young women to also be able to dream big. And with that being said, I thank you for this opportunity.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say anything because I don't want to. You know, you want to add and then you just do emotion. So I'm fun with emotion. I just want to say, wow. Yeah. Please can we give Kidiboni another round of applause? Next up, we've got a few people who have just joined us in the front. Don't worry, we're not putting the spotlight on you. You're not gonna come up. We just want to welcome you and say welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we hope that you'll enjoy today. Right, next up, we've got water, energy, and food framework applications and gaps in developing agriculture from the Agriculture Research Council. We've got Ms. Nwabisa Masekwana. She's with us this morning, right here in front. She's been with us, and you were with us yesterday, ne? Please let's show her some love and give her a massive round of applause.
behind this or should
What's comfortable for you?
I don't know.
I think this is comfortable for you, so you can use this.
I'll keep hiding and then.
When you hide, okay.
Okay. Okay. Hello. Hi. I was going to give a scientific presentation, but I'm so motivated by the presentations that we're giving just now, and also maybe because there are also some students here. The ARC is also very big at capacity building. So I'm going to speak about myself, speak about my career, and probably also get into the Can you hear me? Yes. Oh, all right. Okay. Fortunately or unfortunately, I'm not youth. I matric 1996. I hope you don't bring the I hope you don't bring the securities and actually check me out. Oh, okay. I got my first degree in 1999. Fell into science. I don't know how. I fell into science, I don't know how. The one thing that I knew that I could do as a young person and did not trust myself was that I wasn't sure what I wanted to do after matric. So I was like, okay, I'm good at English, so maybe let me just go and do arts and do English. And then I applied to do a BA degree in English. And then when the matric results came out, apparently I had good science marks. So the person at the admin at the university said, no, you can't do BA. Just the first one, don't move. Okay. I'm just giving a background of why I'm where I am. No, you can't do a BA with such good science marks. So I'm like, okay, what should I do? He said, BSc. I'm like, BSc, okay. What's the easiest course that I can do here so that I can just pass and get out of here? You know? They're like zoology and botany. I'm like, okay, are they easy? Yes. Because I've heard that people at the institution that I was in, she's called WUSU now, back then was called the University of Transkei. I heard that they do Maths 1 for 5 years. So I didn't intend to do Maths 1 for 5 years. So quickly, I did my degree in 3 years, and then I went to the Cape to do my postgraduate degree. I did my honors in botany, because it was also still easier than zoology. And I didn't want to be a geek or a nerd. I'm actually blind. I've been wearing glasses since the age of 7, standard B or sub B, right? So I wear contact lenses because I did not want to have that science geek wearing glasses, nerds that don't speak. Yes, I'm a coffee addict, but I wanted to be a different scientist, you know, the scientist that was makeup, the scientist, and I didn't even, when I was doing my master's, I remember, I said, I am not going to load my car with study material, because when you see the academic cars at the university, it's like, the car is just full of books, the car is just full of journal articles and things like that. So I said, I'm not going to be that type of scientist. But fortunately, unfortunately, I got my master's degree through the ARC, a program called PDP, Professional Development. I started working in year 2002. So some of you were not born yet. So I said, don't bring the security yet. I'm definitely not you. I started working in 2002 under the PDP program, and then I became a researcher with the ARC in year 2004. So I've been 18 years in the research field. The one thing that I also learned about being a scientist is that do not box yourself and say, I'm a biologist, or I'm a plant biologist, so I will only deal with plants. I was in the Cape. I had to do my internship in the wine industry in Stellenbosch. That's where I started drinking. I come from a very conservative family, so we had to taste wine for our research. And at times it would be 30 wines or 60 wines, depending on that. But I went in under the subunit of soil science, and I was looking at plant reactions to wastewater treatment. Every every industry has a waste product. So the wine that you drink also produces waste when it's being made. So the wine industry had a problem with solid waste or water waste. So our issue was to actually try to eliminate the problem of winery wastewater waste, right? So that's how I joined. I went into the environmental management sphere, and we also did irrigation. And then because there is a very small pie in terms of, I see most of the funders are not here. The WRC, the NRF, those are the people that give us money. And now we had wine tech in the wine industry. So we have this small pie that funds research. So now everybody needs to compete and submit proposals to actually get funded. So I was like, okay. I went into rural development. My mentor, Sister Me from the ARC, is here. She taught us she got us into a program of agriculture for research and development. I'm also an accredited facilitator. I'm an accredited assessor, and I've also done moderation. I also push the food security agenda. I also train on crop production. Maybe somebody will give me a job. So I also headed a lot of rural development projects for the Western Cape, provincial ones, where I would have 6 million rand projects to actually put infrastructure in rural communities, train, build the infrastructure, necessary development, hydroponics, open vegetable production. We even did mushroom production, which is one of our success stories. Now let me quickly get to why I'm here. Then about 3 years ago, I was transferred to ISCW, which has now become Natural Resources and Engineering. Right. Oh, before that, I was registered to do a PhD at the University of Stellenbosch on winery wastewater irrigation. It's very difficult to get accepted into the universities, especially Stellenbosch. So I had to abandon that project and move to Pretoria 3 years ago. I looked for a project to do that I could do my PhD in. I tried with VETS rejected me. And then, fortunately for me, a project fell into my lap last year with a retired professor in our institute. And the project was on water energy food nexus frameworks in catchments. Now I'm like, I am a plant biologist. I know plants. I measure plants growing. I measure yield. I measure the size of fruit. I probably can interpret soil science results or water, but what is this now? Don't shift it.
Okay.
what is this now? I don't want to sit behind the desk and collect other people's data. Okay, this time last year, I was registered with the University of Pretoria and I had no idea what I was going to do on the project. October last year, I had no idea what to do on the project, what energy food nexus was, until I had to submit my first report. That's whereby I sat down and I did. And water, energy, and food nexus is actually every day. You can just, now let's speak about agriculture. We've got 3 resources that are needed for life. Water, energy, and food, in order to produce food, especially in agriculture. But now, you find that the 3 are interlinked in such a way that you will overuse one and underuse the other, right? And so the reason why we doing this study was to actually societies can decide what they actually want to do with their development plans. Can you move to the next slide? For example, we need water for hydropower generation, for water plants. Energy is needed for transport, industry, processing. We need food in order to be secure. And now, each of these 3 sectors we have to make sure that the people can afford the water or the electricity. That whatever plans we make, that they can be enough to make the area secure, and that there is accessibility to the resources, and that accessibility is not only there, but it's sustainable. For example, the project that we are working on right now is in Bombela. Is in Mpumalanga. The city of Mbombela provides enough water for the houses. I think about 90% of the houses are electrified. Their development plans are to actually provide energy for street lights, but what are they doing to provide energy for food production, right? South Africa produces food mostly for exports. We don't produce food for our own consumption. And as I said, that we are in the agricultural field and we are pushing the agenda of food security, right? Food security also means consuming healthy food. So we have to do a whole lot of paradigm shifts. That is the food that I am producing, or that we are actually encouraging people to use. Is it actually healthy food, or we just producing food to make money? So we're looking at all those imbalances now in what are you using the water for, what are you using the energy for, and even the food that you're producing, is it actually going to ensure sustainability in your community? There are different communities that we need to compare. I cannot compare where I come from, the Eastern Cape, to Mpumalanga. I spoke to General yesterday about the Eastern Cape, the drought-stricken Eastern Cape, and whether we have irrigation boards or water management agencies that are as sufficient as in other provinces, meaning that what is applicable, let's say Mpumalanga or Gauteng, cannot be applicable in drought-stricken or poor provinces. I think I've taken enough time. If you want to ask me more information on WEF, I'm available. If you go back to my very, very first screen, I've said who I am and what my contact is. Before I bore you, because I don't want science to be boring, Mona, let Let me stop. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was Ms. Nwabisa from the Agriculture Research Council. Please, can we give her another round of applause? All right, so now we've got the exhibitor showcase. We'll have a couple of the exhibitors come up and showcase their products, showcase their design, showcase what they have with us in the building. Cedar Fashion Designers. Dim from D-Rex, are you here? Are you here? Are you here or you're not here? Oh, you are here. Okay. All right, so he's going to come up to the front and just for the next 3 to 4 minutes tell us about his product. He's from Cedar Fashion Designers. Please can we put our hands together for S. Dim from D-Rex. But I wonder about one thing. Yes, right. Yeah. Okay, just watch me for time. Yeah. 3 to 4 minutes.
Okay, sure. Good morning. My name is Shadrach Dimpe from Atteridgeville. It's actually not D-Rex, it's Drag. So I'm running a brand called Drag. It's derived from my name, Shadrach. I just wanted to keep it original because a lot of people love coming up with names, so I didn't want to do that. So my brand is, now we're doing mostly streetwear, but it's a commercial brand. So we do anything, like anything clothing, we're trying to keep it 100% local, 100% South African. So it's, we usually focus on the basics. In most cases, we do t-shirts, pants, anything basic that any one of you in this room can wear. So it's outside there. I don't know there's numbers or anything, but it's written Cedar. Please come check out what I have for you guys. And there's more on the Instagram pages and the Twitter page. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, it's guys, apologies. Now I'm reading what's been written here. I see D-Rag, as skis. It's drag. Huh? Thank you, as skis.
The surname is E. There's E. It's
Yeah.
Dimpe.
All right, so some people might not get the opportunity to see what you have. Maybe they might leave. Just quickly, just give your details.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Instagram.
Instagram, it's Drag Habiliment. The term habiliment is another name for clothing. So hence I said I don't like basics. Yeah. So it's Habiliment. DRACK_RSHABILIMENT. And then Twitter is _Drag SA. Facebook page Drag RSA. We don't have a website yet, so we have a WhatsApp catalog on these numbers 0711 075 267. 0711 075 267. Thank you.
All right, next up we have Bambi So from M Creations. Are you here? M Creations, he is here from Cedar Fashion Designers. Please can we put our hands together for Bambi So from M Creations. Awambona leka walk at the ngiyabu design eh.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Mbiso. I'm originally from Knysna in the Western Cape alongside the Garden Route. I'm the founder, hat designer, and owner of M Creations. M Creations is a label, a company that supplies consumers or their clients with formal wear, red carpet garments, anything out of the ordinary, turning traditional into class, modernizing it, and also, while at it, doing uniforms and trying to cater for everyone. We are a brand that's currently operating in Sunnyside, Pretoria. We mainly focus on all body types from small to your extra large, not being very choosy or picky, rather. Our company also caters for students, or rather learners, because when I was in grade 12, I remember a few years ago, I never went to my matric dance simply because I knew that the stores that were around at that time wouldn't have what I wanted to wear. Because I was one of the, I'll put it in Xhosa, I was one of the children in class, or rather at school, abapapayo. I was very neat when it came to my uniform, so everyone expected me to stand out of the entire class of grade 12 learners back then. So that was one of the reasons where I was like, I might be having a brand that supplies formal wear or traditional wears or red carpet garments. But then when I sat down, I was like, because I never got the opportunity to be or to even attend my matric dance, I decided that let me bring on school children as well, because there's a lot of people, even back home in Naisner, that will always be like, yo, when up, do you look nice? And I was like, but despite the fact that they're not working, they do have parents, they do have the opportunity to, or they are working. But and a garment or dress that's worth 2,800 rand. How about we create a method of payment when it comes to, because most learners that we have right now are into these very expensive dresses that cost close to 20,000 rand. So now, to avoid parents and even them being under pressure, we discovered, or we saw an opportunity that it's always best to rather have bookings. So now we have a new feature in our company where students and their parents make bookings. It can be like 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, depending on how expensive the garment is, and depending in body change, because bodies go up, they go down. Now, M Creation has that feature in the new added services that we provide. So M Creation started off as a label that was only known in the Western Cape, because I grew up in the Western Cape. And then after a few years, because it started in 2015, then after a few years when I moved to Pretoria to pursue a career in BCom marketing, which I dropped out, it became nationally known. We covered all 9 provinces within 2 years in the industry. And then this year, few weeks back, we managed to secure, with the help of CEDA, clients in the United States of America. Meaning, thank you, meaning that the brand now, it's not only a nationally known brand, but then it's now international. And the most nice part, or what makes me more proud about the brand, is the fact that I was never taught how to make clothes. But because I always wanted to stand out, I had the curious mind, I had to teach myself. So I'm one of those self-taught designers who has a diploma, however, in finances. So M Creations, it's all about standing out. And with our slogan, for we live for fashion, so we believe that fashion is life and life is fashion. We can't do anything, we can't go anywhere without looking nice or dressing up. If you have to attend a wedding, you have to dress up. If you have to attend funeral, whatever, you just have to stand out and you have to dress up. If you love yourself enough, you will try out our brands. There's a director friend of mine that is here in front of me, and he is a client, but he's probably smiling because he knows I'm going to embarrass him. But I have to say this. Maybe you guys can even ask him how we work. We have a lot of designers that are all over around Gauteng and all over the country or even in the world. But what people always complain about is time delivery or time frame to make a certain item. So because we are still operating from home rather, for us it's always the aim to surprise a client that I can actually make your dress within 6 hours or less. That's our aim. Simply to give you that assurance that you're gonna get what you want and it's gonna be good quality. And it's gonna be delivered on time, or rather before that you expected it. But then I don't wanna say too much about M Creations. I will be there for any questions or anything you guys would like to know more about the brand. But then M Creations is the next big thing for South Africa when it comes to well-known international brands or labels or companies. Okay, so we are on social media on Facebook, which is the most active one. It's M Creations, one word, 69. And then on Twitter, we are M Creations 6. And then on Instagram, we are M Creations _. It's M _ Creations 1989. Thank you very much. We will be at the exhibition room number 2, I think, if that's what you guys call it. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much to our Cedar fashion designers, dressed the part and looking the part. Next up, just before I call the MEC for the Gauteng Department of Social Development, she's with us this morning. I just want to speak about the Agri-Youth Skills Development Program that is taking place kwa Hammanskraal. Anybody here from Hammanskraal? It's like what? Ishapeleng matso, dilo di change lang. Right, so some of the courses that take part are plant production and new venture creation. There's about 100 young people who are in this course. And this development program for young people is supported by the Gauteng Social Development. So can we please give that development, Gauteng Social Development, a round of applause, please. It's then a privilege and an honor for me to introduce onto stage the Gauteng Department of Social Development, MEC Me Morakane. She's with us in the building. Please can we put our hands together for her. Would you like to use mic A or A?
No, right. Okay. Good morning. I have to apologize for my voice, but I'm sure you'll understand it's winter. So we all have, maybe those are like me who have the cold, sound like I do now. This is not my normal voice, but I hope I'll be able to get my message across. That's the first disclaimer that I'm putting on the table. The second disclaimer is that I was supposed to be in Pietermaritzburg, and I missed my flight, and I was actually happy that I missed it because I wanted to be here. I didn't miss it deliberately. No? It was. I would have joined you later on in the afternoon. But like the program director has, and thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak to these wonderful people here. So like the program director has introduced me, my name is Morakane Musupye, and my responsibility is commonly known as MEC for Social Development in the province of Gauteng. So you're probably wondering, what has social development got to do with what you're doing today? Because mainly it would be the Department of Agriculture, I guess, and the SETAs that you work with. There's a lot that we're doing with young people as the Department of Social Development. There are a number of programs that we have. One of them he spoke to when he introduced me here, the training that we give young people in Hammanskraal. It's not only in Hammanskraal, it's all over the province. And I'm going to, if you allow me. Okay. Okay. So, like I said, we have quite a number of programs that are focused at young people. So, if you allow me, I'm going to focus on only 2 of those. The first one is a program that we refer to program. Its main aim, as you might know, social development, our mandate, which is embedded in the Constitution, is to look after what is described as the most vulnerable in society. Put in simple terms, it's poor people. So we look after poor people. We make sure that they, at least they have a chance to survive in life. It's not an easy job. COVID made it very worse because most of the people who were able to feed their families and look after them lost their livelihoods, and they had to become our clients, what we normally refer to as our clients. So we had to think innovatively, we had to think on our feet, that the budget did not grow, even though the problem had grown exponential. Then what do we do? So we had this program. It started in the department before I joined them in 2013. But we gave it momentum and impetus since the two years back. It's called the Welfare to Work program. So what we do is that we identify young people from the families that we give support to, and then we ask them what is their stream of interest in terms of skills. And the reason why we ask them to what their line of interest is that when we give them skills, they should finish the course that we put them on. What we had discovered was that initially, when we started, and we are human, like everybody else, we stumbled along as we went along, and we made mistakes and we learned from them. So we had a lot of young people dropping out of the programs that we had with them, and we had to correct that. So that's when we came to a conclusion that the best thing for us to do is to ask young people what they're interested in, and then we train them along those along their lines of interest. And since then, we haven't had any young person who has dropped out of the programs that we have with them. And then after skilling them, we then work together with the sister department, DED, Department of Economic Development, where we take these young persons and we get them incubated. And then after incubation, we then link them with jobs, those that want to, who want to be employed, those that want to start their own businesses. We also help them to start their own businesses. I think about 2 months ago, we with the Premier, not 2 months ago, it was in the month of June. Earlier in June, we were in Johannesburg with the Premier. He was actually shocked that the Department of Social Development is creating more jobs than all the other departments combined, and it's not even our mandate. It's because we chose to focus on young people. So, thanks. But then remember, it's like it's named, it's welfare to work. We don't want them to come back to the department and be dependent. They must move from being dependent on welfare and getting to work. So we are focusing on entrepreneurship. Our thinking behind this is very simple. If we are able to skill a young person along the lines that they're interested in, and we are able to give them incubation, and they can get their businesses started, that family would have been removed from being dependent. Not only the young person, the entire family would have been removed, and that person becomes a job creator. So that's the thinking behind it. It's nothing complicated. We just had to do it. So we're thankful for people like the Green Youth, the NGO, and others. I think we have about 6. They are job creators. So Department of Social Development has proved to all and sundry that we are not, they normally refer to us as a soft skill department. Say, okay, fine, you can give us whatever name you want. We are not going to fight with you. Just don't mess with our programs. Do whatever you like. Give us 1,010,000 names. We don't care. If you get into our space, you will get a lot of resistance because we are making progress here and we don't want it disturbed. So the other program that we are doing in the welfare to work, which I find very interesting, is that we have the Beauty Hub Academy. It started simply like all this. We were worried sitting there looking at the number of families that are growing in our database and looking at the budget that we have. 5.8 billion, you might think it's a lot of money, come to the Department of Social Development. That's when you will understand the relativity of money. 5.8 billion is nothing. Nothing. It's not, it doesn't even scratch the surface of what we need. So we had to think innovatively, what is it that we're going to do? Because these families need us anyway. They don't care whether we have the money or we don't. Government said the Department of Social Development is there and they'll look after you. So we went after the young people who were interested in beauty. Aesthetics, we started with aesthetics, hair, makeup, all of those things that mainly women are interested in, but men also. It's not only women. So we started the Beauty Hub Academy. We said, okay, identified from the families that we give support to, anyone who's interested in the beauty industry, can you come to us, please? And then we will train you along the lines of your interest. Again, it works, believe me, it works. You don't have any dropouts. We'll train you along the line of your interest. And we found quite a lot of them, because most of them went into that industry because the economy is not creating jobs. But for us, what we saw was potential job creators. So that's how we looked at them. And I can share with you the statistics that out of the cohort that we took in 2 years ago, we graduated 325, and all of them are running their own businesses. 325 are running their own businesses. So those that we find in the space that they've been doing what they were doing, it's fine. And the ones that we introduced into the space after they are trained, we give them a container, fully fledged, fully furnished rather, with, if it's hair they're interested in, with whatever is needed to look after people's hair. If it's makeup, what they're interested in, it's going to be furnished in that way. So we give it to them, but there's a condition. They cannot sell it for the 3 years, because our intention is for the family to get out of poverty and dependence. And again, I'm standing here proud to say none of them have ever even considered selling them. Actually, they're coming back to us and asking, what is it that they can do to grow? So we really need to bring the Department of Economic Development on board. Oh, Peter Hall, you guys better, Lira Shohorio, you come to the fore. We'll be bringing 320 young people for you to incubate in the next 3 months. The Premier spoke about it yesterday in the EXCO meeting. So, Peter, I worked with him, so he knows that I'm a little bit crazy. So you better do what you need to do. This industry, the beauty industry, it's worth $3.2 billion in South Africa. $3.2 billion. Ne? So I don't know how much, I don't know what the exchange rate is. You can calculations and you'll find out how much it costs, how much it is in rands and cents. So why am I telling you this? So the last time when we were graduating the 320 young people, we then threw a challenge at them. That beauty industry, it's not only about aesthetics, it's not only about what you look like. Everything that you apply, the hair that we buy, the hair that we have, natural hair that we need to, to maintain it. The eyelashes, those things are done, I produce somewhere. Your ordinary body lotion that you apply to your hands, your face, your body, it's produced somewhere. So why is it that we, as social development and our young people, are looking at aesthetics only? We just threw that at them and we asked them, look, we want you to come back to us as social development, sustainable livelihoods program, and tell us what is it that you want us to do to support you to become producers, farmers first. Because for you to get hemp, as an example, and I'll tell you how my senior managers reacted to hemp. Hemp or murula or whatever tree that you need to produce whatever product that is for beauty aesthetics, for the beauty industry. You need to farm, you need to get to the farm and plant that tree, look after it. And you need to get into distribution and you need to get into production and distribution again once you have produced. So there's 4 areas. This 3.2 billion that I'm talking about is not even talking to the farming part of the beauty industry, excuse me. So the Premier then said to us, okay, what I want you to do, guys, after the COVID problems that were presented to us is I would like you to set up a war room on poverty, where you come up with solutions to the problems that we have, not looking at handouts, looking at sustainable solutions. So this is what we shared with him, the production side of the beauty industry. He was very happy with what he saw with the 320 that we graduated. So we have a new intake of 300. We couldn't make it 320, it's 300. We are working together with the Department with South African National Defence Force. They are our partners. We have a formal relationship with them. They provide land and security. I don't think there's anyone who is crazy enough who would want to go and break into anything that is in an army barracks unless they have a death wish. I'm not going to mess with those guys, but I hope nobody wants to mess with them. But that's the advantage that we have with working with them, the availability of land, and they also have from their side soldiers who are interested in farming, so they also bring their skill along. So we have started working with them along the lines of maize and wheat, I'm told by them, and I'm confessing if there's anyone who can educate me in here, I'll appreciate it. They told us that these 2 products can also be used in the beauty industry. I am still to be convinced on that, but that's what we're doing with them. And then the next level will be on hemp. This is a program that the Premier is also supporting. Department of Agriculture is working on it. The only challenge with it is that our area, our province, has got a lot of hail when it rains, and it's not very good for production in that sense. So we are having discussions with the province of Limpopo. Maybe they will grow for us, and then we can take it. We had that conversation, Slewo Peter. I hope they are going to follow up on it. Maybe Limpopo will plant for us, and then we can beneficiate on our side. So we're looking at hemp as well. So it's those areas that we're looking at. There's a lot that I can share with you, but I just wanted to focus on these 2 particular programs. So we want to take in at least 120 for starters, young people who are interested in farming, but there will be specific areas where we want them to farm because we want to take advantage of this industry that I spoke to, the 3.2 billion beauty industry in South Africa. We have partnership with a number of companies. I didn't get their permission that I could use their names, but they are your mainstream beauty industries in South Africa. There's 3 that we have signed with. And as soon as we are allowed to share that information, we'll do that. What they are going to do with us is to help our young people in scientific research in the beauty industry and production of beauty products. We are also looking at the angle of distribution. In that particular sense, we are still talking to quite a number of companies that, so if they waste our time, we'll just do it ourselves. We intend to launch that in the month of August. So those 110 or 100 or so young people will start doing that farming project by that time. So one other thing that I want to share with you, or maybe to tell you what my senior manager said, you know, one of the responsibilities that we have as a Department of Social Development is to look after young people who are addicted to substances. So in one of the war room meetings, I told them that we should be looking at the possibility of training young people in producing hemp. Well, I said cannabis, and they were quiet for about 5 minutes, and none of them said anything to me. And then the DDG said, MEC, are you sure you want us to produce dagga? I said, no. I didn't say dagga, I said hemp. It's a different cultivar, so you need to go and learn what it means. So I hope you'll be able to teach my senior managers the difference between the cultivars, because we are going that route anyway. So the last thing that I want to share with you, and it's where we want to make sure that young people get involved in the programs that we have as a Department of Social Development, and that you, after we have trained you, you must leave and become your own business people. We don't want you back. We want you to succeed and don't come back. Because if you come back, we are creating problems for us. So to make sure that you don't come back, we will also incubate you with Regenesis Business School. We are going to be signing with them a partnership in about 2 months or so, where they're going to incubate all of you who are with us at this current time, all of you. We have about just over 1,000 young people that we're working with. They have 3 different programs that they are running, so we will be working with them to incubate you. As you know, Regenesis is a business school, so they will be teaching you on how to run a business. The incubation is going to run over a period of 3 years. We will be paying for it, because we don't want you to have a situation where, and we know what the situation is. Like I said, it's welfare to work. So the families that we work with, we know they are, they have problems. So we don't want to make it your problem. We will take that burden off of you. But there is a condition you must pass. If you don't, then we are going to have to ask you to leave, so that we can give another. So we have never had any of our young people who did that, but it's something that we're very strict about. So by August, we'll be taking, I think, our first cohort, our first batch of young people who will be incubating with Regenesis, just to make sure that you are taught on how to run your business. The last bit, unfortunately, we cannot do legally. The law does not allow us to do that, is to get funding for the businesses. DED, Peter Hall, and your like, that's your space. So you need to, maybe let me say this. What the Premier said is that we have to take these young people, the 2 departments must come together, and then we see what is it that we can do to finance their businesses. Because that, as social development, legally we cannot do. Everything else that we can do, we will do, and then we'll then hand them over to you. You'll be getting the 120, I think, and then, the 120 is with us, Regenesis, and you'll be getting 200 and something to incubate. So we'll be incubating just over 400 young people in this financial year in the next quarter. So that's what I needed to share with you. There's a lot that I can tell you about social development, but I was asked to remain within the ambit that I was given, so I will leave it at that. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to speak here.
Thank you so much, MEC. Another round of applause, please. That's the MEC from the Gauteng Department of Social Development. We've got one last presentation before we go for tea and coffee. That presentation is coming from the Medical Research Council. The tobacco industry is categorized as a contributor to the economy, but uses greenwashing as a front to environmental harms. We've got Dr. Catherine Edge in the building, who will... did I not say it? You see, but I'm saying what is here. All right. Anyway, please can we put our hands together for Dr. Catherine from the Medical Research Council.
Hello? Can you all see me? Now I'm wearing something that is higher so that you can. So I'm here with my team. I just want to introduce them before I start my talk. We are from the Alcohol, Tobacco and Other Drug Research Unit of the South African Medical Research Council. So as you may know, the South African Medical Research Council has its head office in Cape Town, but we have an office in Pretoria. We also have in Durban and Johannesburg. But the unit that I belong to, the office in Pretoria is actually working mostly on tobacco control. So I'm here with Pingdile, Ngobese, Spare, Gwambe, Zinkle. Where is Zinkle? Yeah, okay. Zinkle and Piwe. So part of what I'm presenting today is the handiwork of these amazing ladies. So I'm giving them the credit as well. And I want you to put your hands together for that. So do we have smartphones with us? Smartphones? I want you to put it to use today. Good use. You know, most of the time when speakers are talking, you see young people, you know, busy with their phones. So I want to make that phone useful to me now. So you can see this link. Go on Google Chrome or whichever browser that you have. Type in http // then etc.ch/ in capital letter AKGA. And the A is small letters. So you're going to do a very small quiz for me, 2 questions only. And we'll see the results on the screen after we have all logged on. Tell me if you're there, if you've clicked on it. Tell me. Can I see your hands, please? Are you there? So we still have a lot of people not there yet. Are we there? I want as many people as are in this hall to be there. If you have a phone, can I see your hands if you're there? This is not encouraging. I want to see as many people as possible on that link. And then we'll do this. I'm not going to know the answer you give. So don't, because I think some people are in that exam mode now where they are wondering, the teacher is going to know that I didn't get the answer right. Don't worry, I won't know. You'll see it here, and I won't know. Are we there? Yeah. How many of us? Let's see. Until I see a majority, I'm not moving forward now. This is still not encouraging. 50 people. Can I see your hands? 50. It's still like 20 people. Somebody try to raise their hands. Okay. So, because when I go off this screen, you won't see this again. So I'm going to where you see the results now. That's why I'm taking time. Okay, can we go to the next screen? Just click on the results. And then just click on the link. It's supposed to do that. It's protected. told you I'm from the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Other Drug Research Unit, but I do mostly tobacco control. I was very interested in the story shared by one of the speakers about how she got into research in energy and water. And I was tempted to share mine, but maybe if there's time, I'll share mine. It's quite interesting, you know, these things. You can take it to the browser. Just, yeah. Just go off and then go and put it on the browser. Okay. So this is the first question. We have just two questions. Cigarette butts make up about -% of all collected litters across international coast and urban areas since the 1980s. So you can see at the bottom the number of people who have voted and the number of votes. So as you enter what you think is the correct answer, it will show you in percentage how many people have done that. And so we have only 22 people. I said 50, so I'm still waiting. Okay. 50, going. Seven more. I'm being accountable. 3 more. 2. You can see I can't know who is putting what results. 1 more. 1. Who is that last person? 1 more. Good. Nice. Okay. So we have 4% say 10 to 20%. 30% say 20 to 30%. And okay, 30.8% say 20 to 30%, and the majority, 65.4, say 30 to 40%. So, what is the correct answer? That's the correct answer. Okay, good. So that's a good one. Thank you very much. So, cigarette butts are they are everywhere. Everywhere. Just as I was walking in here, we saw a flower pot just by the side. And what did we find inside? Cigarette packs and cigarette butts, and of course energy drink and so on. So instead of a flower being there to beautify the environment, we have what? Cigarette butts. So they are everywhere, and they are the most litter in the environment. So the next question is this. Which of the following is not a waste generated by the use of tobacco products, or even the manufacturing of tobacco products? Which of them is not a, I don't know, this, oh sorry, the answer is not showing. Supposed to, 1 second. I think this one won't work because I wanted to give you options. So the first, okay, let me give you the option from here. The first one is cigarette lighters. So the first one is cigarette lighters. You can see it? Yeah. Oh, great. Okay, so the first one is cigarette lighters, just for those who may not have keyed in. The second one is tobacco packages. The third one is cigarette wrappers. The fourth one is cigarette tips. Oh, sorry, cigar tips. And the fifth one is chalk. So, which of them is not a waste generated by the use of tobacco products? You didn't put, if you didn't put your use your phone, then I'm not going to listen to you. So I'm going to listen to those who are using their phones. Okay. So we have 47 remaining 3. 2. Where are the 2 participants? They are keeping us waiting. Okay, one more. Good. Okay. So surprisingly, nobody chose the correct answer. And the one who didn't use his phone is the one giving me the correct answer.
It is.
He's here giving me
the other way around. So chalk is the one on top.
Oh, chalk is the one on top. That's what I was reading from here. Oh, I'm so sorry. So you guys are very correct. 62.7% got it correct. So we have cigarette lighters, we have cigar tips, because you know the big cigars, they have something at the end. And then we have cigarettes wrappers and the packages as well. Okay, so I can now go on to my lecture or my talk. So we know that, I was very happy to hear that substance use is one of the things that the Department of Social Development is trying to fight against. What we found is that most of the people who use substances today, they started by, can you guess? Smoking cigarettes. So we usually call cigarettes the gateway drug. It's the gateway to other hard drugs. Most people started with that. And another thing I need to tell you, which is not on my slide, is that all those who are smoking today, about 90% of them started smoking before they were 21. Oh. Yes. All those smoking today, about 90, could sometimes be more, started smoking before they were 21. So, and then about 80% started smoking before they were 18. Which means if we can help young people not take that step to start smoking, we can actually help to reduce the prevalence of tobacco use. Now, why do we even want to reduce tobacco use? One of the reasons is what I'm going to present to you today. The impact of cigarette smoking, or even the manufacture, and even the after consumption, products of tobacco, products. What is the impact on the environment? So I'll introduce to you a document or a treaty, an international treaty called the World Health Organization Framework Convention on Tobacco Control. It's in short called the WHO FCTC, Framework Convention on Tobacco Control. It was put in place in 2003, it came into effect in 2005. And of course, South Africa signed into that document in 2005 and is a party to the treaty, meaning that that document is supposed to help the countries to know how to prevent people from smoking and know how to encourage people who are smoking to quit. And of course, to take care of other aspects of tobacco that goes beyond just the person smoking. So, part of the treaty has a lot of articles. There are about 182 parties to the treaty currently. That means about 182 countries have signed into this treaty. Now, I'm not adding the European Union because they signed as a bloc. And then we have some who have signed but have not ratified. That means they agree with it, but they have not ratified it to say, okay, we are going to make our laws to be like this. So, but they are in the spirit of the FCTC. So one of the articles in the FCTC is Article 18, and it talks about the protection of the environment and the health of persons the summary of it is that parties agree to have due regard to the protection of the environment and the health of persons in relation to the environment, in the respect of the cultivation of tobacco, the manufacturing of tobacco, and in their respective territories. Now, next slide. Now, what this means is that all the parties to the treaty, they came together and agreed on this document. It is a document, I think is the most accepted document by the United Nations. And so what they've written in that treaty, they want to do. Nobody is dictating to them. They said they want to do it. So part of it is that they want to take care of the environment. Even as tobacco is being manufactured or cultivated, they want to put into consideration the fact that the environment is important. Because it is how, they used to say, you know, there's this popular adage, the way you make your bed is how what? Have you heard of the adage? How you make your bed is how you lie on it. So if you left your room with your bed not made, when you go home today, is it going to be made? You're going to meet it the way you left it. So the way we treat the environment is how the environment will treat us. If you treat it well, it will treat you well. If you don't treat it well, you get the results. And part of the results we have is, you know, so many different types of illnesses that we see today. So, what is the environmental impact of tobacco? Tobacco impacts in so many ways the environment, both from the cultivation, the manufacturing, the consumption, and even post-consumption. So after you have consumed the tobacco, it's still affecting the environment. Now, I will first of all talk about the agriculture, tobacco agriculture, that is cultivation. I am very happy to hear that they're only talking about cultivation of cannabis in Department of Social Development, because I know that there's one department, I can't remember if it's agriculture, but I've seen it online where they said they wanted to support people who are cultivating tobacco. Many countries, and part of the FCTC requirement is that countries should help farmers to divest from planting or cultivating tobacco, because tobacco does no good to the environment. So instead of giving money to farmers, for example, to say, okay, go farm tobacco because tobacco companies are going to buy it, rather give them money to farm food products or other important products that can even be more valuable to them. So the FCTC discourages the support for the cultivation of tobacco. So part of growing tobacco involves you using chemicals. It involves you needing to use, cut down trees. And because tobacco itself is not a food crop, you don't eat it. It's only, useful to the tobacco industry. What happens? Instead of planting crops, food crops, you plant tobacco, and then at the end of the day, we're having problems with what? Food security. You must know that the countries that produce tobacco in Africa, for example, the highest, that is Malawi and Zimbabwe, we know their economic status, right? They are among the poorest. So if tobacco is so good, why are they not using it? Why is it that even as they are producing so much of it, they are still poor? So tobacco does no good. Apart from the fact that the use of these chemicals to grow this product seeps into the chemicals itself, seeps into the water body, and at the end of the day, if you look at that diagram, you see that the chemicals go down. At the end of the day, the fish, they get it, and sometimes if you have boreholes, if you have untreated water, which is what you find in boreholes, you're also exposed to these chemicals. So this is how you find even the cultivation of this plant being harmful to the environment. Not to talk about the fact that it uses so much water and exposes the farmers themselves to what we call the green disease or green leaf disease, because there is the nicotine in the plant, which as the farmers interact with the plant, they get this disease. Next slide, please. So what about the manufacturing? The manufacturing of tobacco uses a lot of resources. It needs a lot of, because they have to cure it. Curing means they have to use fire to dry the leaves. So when they are needing to use fire, it means they are going to cut down trees to produce the wood, right? And then of course, because you are burning wood, you are introducing what? More carbon into the environment. So the carbon footprint for the manufacturing industry for tobacco is very high. And most people, they know that if you tell them that this particular process is going to make you get involved with a company that pollutes the environment so much, they would rather not participate or rather not patronize that company. So most of the time, the industry uses these materials that are harmful to the environment to even make sure that their products come out to you. Of course, the excessive use of water, the excessive use of wood, and then of course the excessive consumption of energy, because you can't burn, you can't cure tobacco without using wood. Next one, please. Now we go on to the consumption. How many of us have an idea of how many people die of tobacco-related diseases yearly? Any idea? It's a lot. How many millions? Globally? 4. Any other option? Any other? Someone said 4 globally.
I think around
20 million. So we have 4, 20. Any other one? One more. From that side? 10. Okay, so it's in between 4 and 10. So it's 8 million. 8 million globally. Now, of the 8 million, 1.2 million do not smoke. So how do they? Passive smoking. This guy, I need to recruit you into my department now. So 1.2 million die as a result of exposure to other people's smoke. 1.2 million. And exposure to other people's smoke doesn't just mean my friend is smoking and I'm there and I'm inhaling it. Have you ever been to a room where someone had smoked? You smell it, right? So there's something called third-hand smoking, where if someone is smoking, the particles get stuck on the curtains, the rug, the paints on the wall, and even when the person has left, they are still reacting to the environment, reacting with other chemicals in the environment and forming new chemicals. So there is also third-hand smoking. That is also impactful. That's also impacts on the people's health, especially if you're like me who reacts very, very fast to anything tobacco, So, of course, apart from affecting humans and their health, tobacco smoke also pollutes the environment, right? It also pollutes the environment. So that is also another way that tobacco impacts the environment. So now, post-consumption, after they have consumed the tobacco, what happens? What happens to the cigarette butts? Remember the first question we asked? Can you remember? So everywhere you go, you see it. That filter is a plastic. I'm sure the lady that spoke about plastic blocks, I don't know if they use cigarette butts as well. But that filter is plastic. And you see it in oceans, you see it everywhere. They don't degenerate. They are non-biodegradable. So it takes years for them to get off the environment. And we have about 1.3 billion smokers in the world. So imagine if 1.3 billion smokers, and then times maybe they are smoking 2 cigarettes a day. That's the least. But there's some people are smoking a pack. So you can imagine the trillions of cigarettes that are being consumed. Not to talk about the new products. How many of us have heard of electronic cigarettes? Hookah, Habli. Habli, you've heard of it? Babe. Where do they throw those things when you finish using them? Have you heard of nicotine poisoning before? Have you heard of nicotine poisoning? So the e-liquid that is put in the e-cigarette, it's a liquid, it's called e-liquid. It's made of nicotine and other substances. When they finish using them, you know you cannot get the last drop out of the bottle, right? You throw it. Sometimes kids just pick them because nicotine is poison. It's poison. So, many things that come out of cigarettes, they end up being in the environment. We don't have the capacity to take care of them because they are, that's my belief. We have a campaign called Protect Our Next campaign. Protect our next generation. That's what it means in full. There's someone wearing a t-shirt there. I don't want to put her on the spot, but I've shown you the t-shirt of the campaign. It's called Protect Our Next campaign, which is supposed to help the young people to understand why we need to regulate tobacco in South Africa. We have a bill called the Control of Electronic Delivery System, Control of Tobacco and Electronic Delivery Systems Bill. So it's called going to control both tobacco and e-cigarettes. And it's still stuck somewhere in the process. But we need young people to ask the government, please, can you push this bill? We don't want to die because of tobacco. We don't want people who don't know the impact of the product to start smoking. We want those who have started smoking to now understand why they have to stop. We can only do that if we have the right policies in place. Formerly, South Africa used to be the leader of tobacco control in Africa. But after the FCTC, we have not put down any comprehensive law. We have been amending the old one. But the old one is not obsolete because e-cigarette is not there. You know, e-cigarette only came on board in 2003, and it only got into South Africa around 2013. We don't have a law regulating e-cigarettes, for example. And that is why you see them in shop malls very nicely put to make sure that the industry is held accountable because they are the ones producing these things. They are the ones most of the time sponsoring farmers. I know they sponsor farmers in South Africa. So they are the ones, but when they sponsor the farmers, they make sure that they buy the product from the farmers at very little amount of money. So that the farmers, they think that they're going to be rich, but at the end of the day, they become debtors to the tobacco industry. It's happening in other countries, and so I would not be surprised to hear it happening here. We've not seen it, or we've not heard of it because it's a new initiative. I think a few years back that they started the project. So, what can we do? We need to increase public awareness about the toxicity and the environmental impact of tobacco products waste. And of course, we apply what is called the extended procedure responsibility principle to tobacco products. What does this mean? It means you hold the manufacturers, the industry accountable. They will be accountable for the full life cycle of their product, from when it is cultivated to when it is manufactured, or goes through when it is after consumption. So that is the summary of what that process means. What else can we do? Okay, so what else can we do? We can hold the industry accountable by making them pay for it. Pay for cleanups. Pay for the impact of their products. Because in the US, for example, there is something that is called the Master Settlement Agreement. The tobacco industry in the United States is paying billions of dollars to the United States government. In fact, about 46 states of the United States, because the other 4 states decided to do their own litigation, their own suing of the tobacco industry privately. But there are about 46 states that came together and said, the industry is using their products to destroy young people. They are not telling people the impact of the products, and so they must pay. And they were taken to court. In order to avoid, a long court battle, the industry decided to settle out of court. And in deciding to settle out of court, they agreed to pay billions of dollars to these states for the impact of their products, both on the lives of people and even the environment. So the question now is, why can't they do it here in Africa? Why can't they do it here in South Africa? Is the product not also killing people here? Is it only killing people in the US? Can I hear you? No. So why can't they do it here? So we need to start holding the industry accountable. The products should be labeled, and they should be correctly labeled to say these products are dangerous. And then they should be able to say where people should put the different, waste that is generated by their products. And of course, the plastic filters that you have, the butts, they were put there in the 1950s. In the 1950s, scientists started to know that tobacco is responsible for a whole lot of this, starting from lung cancer. That was the first disease they got to know that tobacco causes. Of course, the tobacco industry was fighting it. But before the 1950s, the tobacco industry already knew that their products cause cancer. They hid the results. So when the scientists got to know and they started publishing it, the industry started saying, oh, we are trying to do something to make it not to cause cancer again. So they put the filters. But we have seen studies that have been done to check if the addition of the filters can prevent people from getting cancer, and the answer is no. So that needs to be corrected, so that, because in putting the filters, they've added more waste to the environment by their products. And of course, I've talked about litigation. Of course, I've talked about holding the industry accountable, but the WHO makes some recommendations. They said they should be given financial penalties. Just like they are paying in the US, they should pay in other places. They're required to produce accurate information on the environmental concerns of the tobacco at all the stages I've mentioned. The third one is that tobacco agriculture should be better regulated. Actually, the WHO recommends that there should be what is called alternative cropping. That is, help farmers who are cultivating tobacco to leave cultivating tobacco to order more useful products. Order more useful and equally good products that can be able to give them good money. And then the other one is legislation should be able to cover the environmental impacts of tobacco. I'm not sure, even the bill I just mentioned, the Control for Tobacco and Electronic Delivery Systems bill, I don't think it even covers the environmental impact of tobacco, because the bill is being sponsored by the Department of Health. I believe that the Department of Environment, or another department that is related to environmental protection, should be the one to put the law concerning the environmental protection from tobacco products. And then lastly, of course, increasing taxes is one of the best ways to prevent people from smoking, because if the products are very expensive, less people will buy. Studies have shown that most people who smoke are those of low socioeconomic status. In fact, the Global Adult Tobacco Survey that was conducted in South Africa, we found out that about 75% of what a family, for example, will receive as social grant is being spent on tobacco. So imagine you don't have money, and then the Department of Social Development gives you $350 to at least take care of little things and food, and then the person uses it to buy tobacco, 75% of it. So which one will be used to buy food? Which one will be used to buy, things for school or other things that is needed by the family? So you see that even the economic impact is huge. And then the associated environmental risk of using their products. I think that should be the end of my, okay. So I'm just going to leave this here because I've mentioned a lot of them. The articles, Article 5.3 of the FCTC says, when you are making laws to regulate the tobacco industry, don't call them in. That's the summary. Why shouldn't you call them in? Say because their interest is only on the commercial aspect. They are not interested in your health. They are only interested in their profits. So don't call them in. Because if you call them in, you are telling them, come and regulate yourself. So if you know that I'm going to get money from this and you say, let me regulate myself, I'm going to make sure you don't regulate my profit. So their profit is more people smoke, more profit for them. Public health is less people smoke, more healthy a generation will have. So the FCT's Article 5.3 says these interests of profit and health, they are irreconcilable. You cannot, they are two opposite ends. There's no way they can meet. CSR, when they come to schools or when they sponsor farmers, they will say, oh, we are very good participants of the environment, we are conscious of the environment, but the best way to help the environment is to actually stop producing these harmful products. Is to actually help people not to smoke. That's the best way. So I'd like to leave it here. I think it's the last line. Can we just go to the very last one? Just show the names of my wonderful interns in my units who contributed to preparing these slides. Thank you very much.